Okay, so what do we need to do to bring this ShareFlix to life? Well, let's look at what we have from the end user experience first, right? So we have a homepage of our site, and in kind of Netflix fashion, we have this hero video that we want to promote to people, and then we have various categories coming down the page. Now I only have 2 here because the day is only so long, but we have award-winning and children and family. And the idea is that people can look at these categories and then they can navigate, much like you do for hours on end in ShareFlix, where you'll just kind of Netflix even, so just so you can go through them nice and easy. And then what we want to do, apart from having this lovely looking homepage, we want to be able to have a page that people can click through to see the video. So I mean, the easiest route to do would just be to click this and link directly to a video file. But if we're talking about the user experience, we might want to add some context to our video. And so if I click into JAWS here, for example, we see we have the video here to play, but we can also tell people about the video, show them a bit of a rating, Rotten Tomatoes, viewer score, any related resources we could have here. So this is stepping back into more of a business context where, you know, if this happened to be a training video, this might be a PDF on things about whatever you're training people on. We have down all the video categories, so we have our award-winning, binge-worthy, all the Netflix staples, and then below that we have another feed, really the same feed that's on the homepage, of other award-winning films. So there's lots in this for the person or the viewer who comes here to really get an idea about this video, the context it sits in, and then where to go next. All very handy. And of course you could click on award-winning here and it would bring you to another page on the site, which is all of the award-winning films. So it's a nice way to get people around the site. So then from a SharePoint perspective, how do we actually make this work? Well, it's very heavily dependent on metadata. We're definitely flexing some meta muscle in doing this, where everything needs to be tagged. So again, if I go into our JAWS example and look at the page details, we have some metadata in here. So the ShareFlix video category and ShareFlix video type, so award-winning and then film. But you know, again, you might have lots of different ways to categorize whatever you would use this for. And the way we've set these up, if we go into the pages library, we see that so every video is represented by a page. It's also a video file in itself that we store on the site that we're embedding on the page, but pages is really where the action is. So we just added 2 new columns in here, one for the category and one for the video type. And we just tag the relevant pages as appropriate. And that's what really drives all of the roll-ups to show people what's what. In terms of the type of column that these are, I created these as managed metadata columns on the site. The very easiest way to do this would be to just use a choice column that lives within the site pages library. But creating some managed metadata, so like a list of categories that can be used all across the site, is quite handy. It makes it very extensible. If you want to expand this site over time, you can use these category choices anywhere on the site. And if you were getting more advanced, you could add them into the search schema within SharePoint. And if that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. It means that you can start to do things like, if I show you here, we can start manipulating how search works on this site. So you don't go to the standard Microsoft 365 search experience. You can come to a custom one that you build. So for example, if I went in here and searched for shark, click enter, we come to a custom page that's built where it brings us back all the videos related to shark, which it did, which is great. And then it shows us the various categories that we could then filter by if we got a long list. And all this is, again, is a SharePoint page that we've added web parts to. So these are the modern PnP search web parts. But it's a page, so we could add anything we want to give this page more context. We could add a description, we could add images, links, whatever we want. But what really makes this possible and to get this experience is using managed metadata. So I'll show you how to set it up. It's very easy. And if you're interested in doing something like this search experience, let me know in the comments and I'll absolutely make a video on it. I'll keep it out of this video because I want to keep the scope kind of light and make this accessible for anybody. To make this work, you need access to, you know, the admin center and a couple of other things. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point. I just wanted to give more context to why I made the managed metadata decision. So what did we say? We've got the homepage, the video pages. We're going to use metadata to tag all our pages and that'll allow us to do all these roll-ups. We also have, if I come into our JAWS example again, this all video categories down here, which looks pretty nice. All this really is a list. So if I go into category navigation, it's a list I set up, which I'll show you how to set up. And it's just a standard list. All we've done is we've created a view, which is called nav view, and it's where we are using a gallery basically to show all of these links as kind of buttons, and they render pretty nice on the site. It's a nice way to add a new type of kind of sub navigation to the site. So if we go into good old fantastic Mr. Fox in here, you can see they're in here, nice and easy. So how about that for an introduction? Let's get into it, and we'll start here. Brand new out of the box SharePoint site. So let's start from scratch. We might start with the boring stuff first. Well, not the boring stuff, it's probably the most interesting stuff, but it's not the sexy stuff on the front end. It's going to be our metadata. So what you want to do is you want to come up to the cog here, and we're going to go to site information, and we're going to go to view all site settings. So this is where we're going to set up all of them tags that we're going to tag our movies or our films with. And what we want to go to is term store management. So we come in here, and this is where we can create like kind of lists of choices that you can use then to tag various things with. Now the term store in SharePoint, there's one at the overall SharePoint level, so you'll kind of have your global terms that are used all across all sites, or you can have site level terms. Now you may or may not have access to the global term groups because you kind of have to have elevated privileges to do that, but if you're the site owner of your site, you can create them locally within your site. So that's what we'll do here. We'll keep it simple enough. So I'll click that down, I'll say add term group, and I'm going to call this term group ShareFlix. Hit enter. And then what we can do is we can add what's called a term set to it. So this is a set of terms. So this would be our ShareFlix video category. Okay, hit enter. And now we can start adding all of our lovely little terms. So term, and then we just stick in here. So what do we want first? We want award winning. That's our first one. Hit enter and it's there. Now don't click these three dots here because you'll make a term beneath this term. We want all the terms below this one. So I'm just going to add in the rest of them now real quick. But it's the same process, just beside ShareFlix video category, three dots, add term, type away, and you're good. And that's it. I've just added them all in the exact same way and we are good to go. So when you've done this, you're fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out of here. I'm just editing the URL and just going back to the root of the site. So now that we have our term set created, what we can do is we can come into pages. And what we're going to do is we are going to add a column, and it's going to be called managed metadata. And basically this means now that we can have a column here that we can connect up to all the terms we just created, and they'll be available as tags within here. And that's how we're going to tag our pages. So I'm going to say, well, select managed metadata, hit next. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this video category. And now it says select, term set. You got to select your term set. So I come in here and I'm going to go into ShareFlix, and I'm going to say ShareFlix video category, and I'm going to click save. I don't want a default value or anything like that. We're good as we are, and I'm going to click save. So very quickly, we have our video category in here, and we can start categorizing things. Now this is the view that comes in here that's connected to your default pages. I hate it with a passion, so I'm going to just come to all pages, have it in here, and make a few little changes to it. So I'm going to go add column, and I'm going to show hide. And for my use case, I don't really care about modified by, modified, created by, created. I like title, think it looks nice, so I'll put it up here. And what else do I want? Obviously the one that we just created, which was our video category. I'll put it in here and I'll say apply. And now we have a kind of a neater look in here. And I'll just expand that out a little bit. So for now, we're good on this. We'll be back in here many, many times, but for now we're good. All I'm going to do is all pages, save, view as. So we've saved them changes, lock them in. Okay, so we're good. So we've done some of our background work. What we want to do now is we're going to create this this list here, our category navigation, so we can have that nice little menu down there. So what we're going to do is go to site contents, and we're going to say new, and we're going to say list, and we're going to go blank list, and we're going to say category navigation. Okay, and we'll show it in the site navigation for now. That's grand. We do that now, and we're in here, and this is all good. And what we want to do now is we want to create hyperlinks that are going to go to these category pages. Now this is a little bit chicken and egg, so we're going to start off with this, just create the view, and then we're going to edit this later when we have the links. So just bear with me. What we need to do is we want to add in, well, let's add a column first. We'll call it we'll get a hyperlink column. So this is going to be the actual thing that people click on. We'll say hyperlink and next. We're going to call this category, and everything else fine. Click save. So now we have this. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to edit in grid view just to make time go a little bit quicker. I'm going to start adding in award winning. I know this is a bit tedious. So I'll pause the video as far as you're concerned, and I'll just add them all in quick. Okay, so they're all added in there. And the next thing that we'd be doing is our category in here. We'd really be just adding in the same stuff in here, but we can kind of click it down, drag it across, because we've got these two things in here that we need to fill out. So this is a little bit tedious, but it's one and done kind of a thing, right? Until we have the actual link. So let's just add in just the link to the site for the moment. I'm just grabbing it up here in the URL. So enter a URL, pop it in there. Display text, award winning. And what I'll do is I'll drag this down so I don't have to copy that link in all the time. And now I just edit in the display text. Okay, so they're in there, so happy days. I'm just gonna exit grid view and we're back in here, everything's nice. I'll just save view as for the crack. And now what we want to do is we want to create a new view that gives us that nice little button kind of layout. So what I'm going to do is all items, and I'm going to say save view as, just to create a new one on top of it. And we'll call this list nav. Click save. We're in list nav and that's brilliant. And then we just need to change it, right? So we're in list, but we want to go to gallery. So we have it like this, nearly there. But we want to format the current view, right? Because it's not quite right. And SharePoint gives us this nice little card editor, so it's an easy way to do fancy looking stuff, nice and easy. So we'll take title out, right? Because if we left title in, people would be able to click it and they'd open up the list item, which takes them out of our ShareFlix magic, right? So we won't do that. And we'll just leave it with category here, and we could hide the column labels, but if we hide them, right, it really truncates all this for some lovely reason. So we'll just leave that there, right? And if it says category, you know, so what? It's fine. And that's good. So then we just click save, and then we are done with this part. So we're really getting set up and ready to go for the nice part. So let's come back to home. And what we might do is we might actually create one of the video pages before we do the home page. We'll save the big bang to the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to say new. We're going to say page, and we'll pick blank for the moment. We can create a template for our page, but you don't really need to, I don't think. We'll just copy everything from existing. That's what I typically do. It's kind of quicker. So blank, and I'm going to say create page. And this is where we start to build out the kind of templated video page. So I'll show you what I've done, and then you can obviously, you know, change this to whatever you want. I want our video to be quite high up on the page, right? So I don't need a banner in the background. We've got some lovely kind of thumbnails of our videos which do the talking for us, so we don't need anything else up here. So I'll say plain. I'll get me out of here. No one needs to see me. And we'll do our first one as Jaws. And what we're going to do next is start adding some content. So we'll get rid of this fella. So what we want to do is we want to add in a web part in here. So this is where we're going to actually put our video. So we'll say file, and we get file and media, right? And that will allow us to embed a video when we upload our video. And below here, we are going to add in a highlighted content web part. So I'm looking at this on my other screen, you've probably forgotten. What we're trying to build is, right, this is our file and media. This is our highlighted content. This is a sidebar over here, which has text web part. This is all text web part. We have a quick links web part, our embedded list, and then we have a button web part. They all come together to stitch together this experience. Now that you've seen that, let's bring us back to reality and where we were. So I said highlighted content below this, so let's add it in. Highlighted content, and we can configure this. Now it mightn't let me because I've not tagged anything yet, but we'll see. So basically we need to tell this web part where you're pulling your content from. So the source is going to be the pages library on this site. The filter we want is page properties, because we want to filter by our video category column. And we want to filter by, we've not tagged anything yet, so that's why you're not seeing anything in there. So another one of them chicken and eggs, right? So let's go to page details, and that will allow us to tag it, right? So video category, and you click this little tag. So here's all our terms that we added, and we want award winning, because Jaws certainly is. So that's good. So now when we come in here, we can say other award winning films. And now we should be able to come in here and say award winning, because we've tagged the page, it knows it's there, so it's going to pull that through. And we'll do film strip in our Netflix style, so that means we'll get 4 here, and then if there's more out to the side, we'll just get a little arrow that we can cycle through them. And you can say it's limited to 8 for some reason by default, just lash it up to 99 and you're good. We'll turn the comments off, and then we come into our sidebar kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is click any of the pluses on the left and say vertical section. So that gives us this sidebar. And in here, we're going to say text, and we're going to add in about this video, and we can make this a H2 for the fun of it. And I have the text for JAWS here to the side, so I'm just going to paste it in here. And then we come in here. I'm on a Mac, right? So I press Control, Alt, and Spacebar. But if you right click, you'll find an option for emojis, right? Put it in there, and here's all our emojis here. I just tend to click the star, and we'll say it is 5 stars. So 5 out of 5. And then we come in here, and for the fun of it, emoji saves our bacon again. We have a tomato, so let's add in rotten tomatoes score, and we will give it a 99%. And then we come down again, it's fell out of the way, and then we can add in our little popcorn bucket, and we will say viewer score. And we'll give this also 99%. We don't need this file anymore. So this is all looking pretty nice. And then the next thing we wanted was kind of related resources. So again, add in a new web part, and this time we'll go for our friend, the quick links web part, and we'll just say it's a button type, and we'll say outline is fine. And let's add in a link, and let's just pick our homepage for the moment. But this is where you could upload a document. You could have it stored on the site and documents added in from there. Whatever you want to do, really. I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to say how to beat up shark, just in case you get stuck in an awkward situation. So icon I'm going to change, and let's say that's going to be a PDF guide on beating up sharks. So I'll select that. That'll do us. We'll give it a title actually. Related resources. Great stuff. And then we're going to add in our kind of navigation to all the other areas. What we'll do actually first, we'll add in a little divider there just to separate it out. So this is all the stuff about this video, and then down here is all the stuff about other videos. So that's the kind of concept in my head anyway. So we're going to go list, and we are going to go category navigation. And in here, we are just going to change it to the view that we made specifically for this, which is list view. Auto size is fine. Hide the command bar, hide the show all. We don't need to see any of this. We just really want the good stuff down here. Hit apply, and for some reason it didn't work. So that's fine, we'll investigate that now in a sec. But we've selected the view anyway, right? So we're good there. And then we can just call this, rename this to all video categories. And we'll check out why that didn't exactly work now in a sec. Yeah, I'm sure when I was doing this, someone was screaming at the screen. And then we can have a little divider again, just because they look nice. And then we'll add in a button. And this might be something simple like, you know, back to home. And then we can come before the back. Add in our emoji again, and a little back arrow, just looks nice. And then I'm just taking up here from the URL address bar, the URL to the site homepage, and now we have our nice little button. And this is all looking good. So obviously I forgot to upload all the video files, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we'll come back and we'll also investigate this. Finish this page, and then we can just churn out a load of the pages, link them all up, do the homepage, and then you are done in time for a cup of tea. So let's save as draft. So what do you want to do first? I wonder why this didn't work. So let's go to category navigation, and I'm going to go to my list nav gallery. I mustn't have just saved the view. Apologies. So when you see that asterisk, it means you haven't saved it, but you've changed something. So you can just click save view as. Don't change the name. Click save, and you should be good. And if we have a quick little look back at JAWS, and we go, what the hell's going on? Just delete it and try again. SharePoint has a sense of humor at times. Category navigation, list nav, blah, blah, apply. There we go. I don't know why. Who knows? Publish. So from a user experience, like I was saying, it's all through our pages, right? But we as admins of this site need a place to actually upload the video files. So if we go to site contents, let's just create a new document library. We could use documents, but we'll create a new one. Document library, and we'll call it videos, showing the navigation for the moment. And this is really just a place to throw our video files. Now, surprise, surprise, I don't actually have JAWS uploaded onto my site. I have a load of dummy stock video, which I will upload here. Uploading 9 items might take a minute, so I'll pause. So here's all the videos uploaded, and I just want to rename them so I can really know what they are. So I'll just edit in grid view for quickness. And now I'm going to edit these quick to Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I'll pause the video here, again from your perspective, and I'll just add the rest of them in. So that's them all added in there. So exit grid view. Now, if I don't know what you're going to use the site for, but if you're going to have lots and lots of videos in here, it's no harm to add a little bit of categorization in here as well. And because we created our column as managed metadata on the site, what we can do is we can just add it in here as well. So we can use the exact same tagging. So if I come down to here, managed metadata, exactly like we did before, and I'll say video category. We could have created a site column and we just add the column, but it's not too much effort to do this, and it's kind of simpler. So I'll say select, and I want ShareFlix, and I'm going to say this, click save, and save. So now I'll just tag them all, so I know that Chicken Run, and I know that Shark Tale, and the Crudes, and Home, they're all family ones. So I'll come in here and I'll say children and family, and I'll click apply and save. So they're tagged, and I'll just uncheck them all, and then I know the rest are Drive, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Harry Potter, Hot Tub Time Machine, and Jaws. They're all critically or award winning. Don't know if Hot Tub Time Machine was, but I like them. Click apply, click save, and then we're good. So now we have all our videos in here, so we're good to go. So let's come back to pages. I hope you're still with me. And we'll go back to Jaws, the one that we started. And now we can finish it out, right? So we're going to go to edit, and we're going to go add file. So this is where we're going to display the actual video on the page. So add file, and we'll go to site. I know they were there in recents, but if you've uploaded loads of other stuff since, you can just go to site, go to our videos area, and then we'll select Jaws here. And this is actually just a stock video of a plane taking off. But if you upload your video and you have a thumbnail and it's somebody half blinking or in an awkward smile, you can always change the default thumbnail. And the way you do that is on the video. You mightn't see these settings at first, but just play it and pause it and then you'll see them. So you click this, and then we can go to thumbnail, and then I can upload one. So I'm going to upload a thumbnail I have for Jaws. So I'll come in here and I'll pick Jaws. Click open, and don't forget to click done here, right? The first few times I did, I forgot to click done, and I was refreshing the page till my finger was numb until I saw the done button. So there you go, I do that, and that's uploaded there. And I can hide this, and let me just check the page details. So it's taken, you know, all this text including about this video, but let's just pick this actual bit in here, page details, and we can get rid of that, put in this. And it took our thumbnail that we added there already, so that's exactly what we wanted. So everything else is good, so I'll click republish. And don't worry if you see this, you can just do a hard refresh on the screen, shift and click refresh in your browser, and then we get Jaws, and Jaws is here, and it's brilliant. So we're good. So the next thing you want to do really, well, I'll definitely do it now just to build out this demo, is just repeat this page for all of the other videos. So I'll do a children and family one next, just so you show how I set that up. And I said you could create the page as a template, which you absolutely could if you wanted to. I could click edit. In fact, I'll do it so you see how to do it, but I'm not really going to use it, to be honest. So you see up here, when we have it in edit mode, you see save as draft. There's a little drop down here, and we can say save as template. So if I do that, and I can call it video template, and then save page template. And what that means is, say I came back to the home screen, and I said new, and I said page. I now have this video template that I could come in, and it's a case of just editing all of this, which is fine. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could always be on one of your video pages like I am here, and you could say new and then copy this page. And that's typically what I do rather than creating the video template. But both options are, you know, absolutely fine, whatever you fancy yourself. So I'll say new, and I'm going to say copy of this page, and let's do the Crudes this time. So we'll come here and we'll just add the title, the Crudes. And here, sometimes this file and media web part gets a bit sticky, let's call it, and you'll change the thing, you'll publish the page, and it was the previous video. So I'll just typically delete it, and I'll just add it back in again. And now I'll come in here and I'll pick the Crudes, insert, and now it's just a case of editing things, right? So I'm going to edit the thumbnail. We have the Crudes, and done. And then I have the text for Crudes here over here, so I'm just going to grab it. So we come in here, change this around, and then you can change all this to you want. I don't know, maybe people didn't think this was as good. Change to whatever you want. And then you can change the resources. This is all the same because it's all kind of dynamically kind of driven, and what we'll link to anyway, it's all relevant. And what you will want to change, if Crudes is a different video category, right? So we'll come to page details, and it's no longer award winning. We're going to get rid of that tag, and we're going to add in a different tag. So we'll click the tag and we'll say this one is children and family. Click apply, and that's great. And now we can come down here, and what we can do is we can click this here, page properties, video category, and this will be children and family. Just check page details, picked it all up. Doesn't look like it did, so I'll just upload again. And I'll take the text here and stick it in for the description. Sometimes it'll add it in, sometimes it won't, depending on the order in which you're doing things and if you're saving along the way. So that's all good, and I'll click publish, and now we have that in there. Again, a hard refresh on the screen and you should get the thumbnail coming up for your video here. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to add in more pages for just the other movies. I'm doing it the exact same way, but you don't need to sit here and watch me do it. And then we'll build the home page, connect everything up, and you're done. And there we are. So I've added all the videos now, so we've got lots of different video pages here under both categories that we were really populating, our award-winning and our children and family. So now we can go back to the home page and we can connect up the last few things. We'll apply the branding, make it look a little bit more Netflix-ish or esque, and away we go. You're good. So let's go back to our home page, and now let's look at how we style this and how we're going to do it. So to remind ourselves, we're looking for something like this, where we have our hero, and then we have the two categories here, and then you can also add more if you wanted to. So the way we're going to do that is let's go to the home page of your site, obviously, and put it into edit mode. And now we'll just delete everything because we don't need anything that comes with the page. So we're going to go 1/3 left. And what that will allow us to do is put the text in here and the image up here. So let's start with the image first. That's the handiest one. So I'm going to say add image, and I'm going to just upload my Harry Potter image and click add image. So that's good. And over here, everything is, well, two web parts. We're using a text web part, and then we're going to use a button web part for the play. So the way we want to do this here is we have number 1 in films today. That's what we're going to say anyway. And I have so you'll see that over here, we have the top 10 little badge or icon. You can find them online, or you can create a quick one, nice and easy. Handy thing to do, right, to get it up into here is, you used to not be able to do this, but you can now, which is great. So you're gonna have your image, right? And we're gonna say drag it up. And then when you're in this text web part, you'll see it's going to try and embed it in here somewhere. So I'll just stick it in like that. You get these options here, so we're going to align it to the left. This is a bit finicky, right? So I'll just say like that, and then I'll just put this back in here. So number 1 in films today, right beside it. And then we'll hit return, and then you just put in your description of what it is you want to say. Now you don't have to include this top 10. I'm just doing it really for the example. And I think have we any more spaces anywhere? No, we haven't. Let's save as draft just to see how that's rendered out. Perfect, ideal. We'll go back to edit, and I'll actually make this page 1 for the fun of it. Let's save as draft, see how we do. Yeah, perfect, that'll do. Sometimes you have to work with this and change font size and stuff like that if you're working with little images just to make it work, but that seems to have worked out nicely for us. And again, like we did before, we can just add in our emojis just to add something extra to the page, really. And we can say this is 5 stars. And again, we'll just say 5 out of 5. So put that in like that. I'm actually going to drop this down to, say, 16, just to make it a little tighter. And then what we want to do is we want to add the play button in there. The play button is really just the button web part, and we're going to edit it. And so the label, we're going to use the emoji symbols again. So I just have them up here, and I'm going to use this play here, and then I'm going to say play. So the emoji is actually really handy to use around your site, just to add a little something extra. If we didn't have it in there, just say play, which would be fine, but it's nice to have the little symbol. And I grab the link to the Harry Potter page now in a minute, but just to make the button active, I'm just going to grab the site URL and put that in. So now we have that in, and that's our top part ready to go. And the next sections are actually quite easy to populate. So all we have to do is below here, right? We could add in a 1-column section, and we could say add in a web part, and we're going to use the highlighted content, and we're going to say this is award winning, and what we'll do is we'll tell it to come to pages library on this site. We're going to filter by page properties, and we're going to say the property is video category, and it's going to equal award winning. That's all our award winning films in there, and we can see our video template came in here, so we'll sort that out now in a sec. But let's go Netflix style with a film strip, and then we get our little carousels then. So award-winning looks good. And then to make things super quick, we're just going to duplicate this web part, and we're going to call this section children and family. Say page properties, video category, children and family, and there's all them videos in there. So that looks good, and that's really, to be honest, that's really all we had to do on this page. If you start populating more and more categories, you can just list them down the page if you want to follow this style. But that is pretty much good to go. So let's say republish, and we have our page in here. And effectively, that's kind of all you really need to do. So again, we could come into JAWS, and we can look at this, and then we can come back to our home if we wanted to. And go into any other movie, or obviously come into JAWS and go into Fantastic Mr. Fox and, you know, navigate very easily around the place. Let's fix the fact that this video template's coming up here. I'm actually glad it happened so I can show you. So if we go back to pages, you see you have this templates folder in here. That's where your templates are saved. And this template is tagged with award winning. So we can just untag it basically, and it'll no longer appear there. So select video template, come down here and just take that tag off it. And now it's not tagged anymore. So if we come home, we'll only have one JAWS in there, which is what we want. So we're almost done. A few little small things to take care of. Let's jump into Harry Potter for a sec. Let me do a hard refresh there, and we get this here. Perfect. All I'm going to do is grab the URL for this, come back to home, go to edit, go to our button, edit again, and this time we will just put in the actual link there. Click republish. And republish again, and now when I click play, I come into Harry Potter. That's what we want. And what we haven't done yet is we haven't hooked up these things, so I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you why it was kind of chicken and egg. So we've created the list, and that's good, but now we need to add in the actual links. So you'll see here on all of these feeds you create, you see a little see all button here. If I click see all, it takes me into a view that SharePoint creates. I can't edit anything on this page, but it'll give me this view that'll show me everything that's been tagged with award winning, and that's what we want for that link. So if you do click that see all on each of the categories, grab the URL. So I'm grabbing it here, and then I'm going to go category navigation, award winning, and I'm going to edit this link in here. So I'll take what I put in there as a placeholder, and then paste in what I got from the URL, and now that's saved. So what that means is if I go to home and I go to any of these videos, right, because we're all pulling from the same list, if I click JAWS now and I click award winning, it takes me to that list of award winning. So we do the same with any of the others. So I'll do it once more. So children and family, see all, take the URL, come into my navigation and go to children and family, and again where it says our category link, just click it, take out whatever we had in there before, add in the new, that's saved. And again, that means that if I come into, again, Drive, and I can go to children and family, it gives me this children and family navigation, or overview of all children and navigation in here. So that's great. So functionally our site works. That's what we really wanted to do. We could change this navigation in here as well. The way we have the list of categories, we could always edit this menu and we could add in something else. So we could say, we want, say, a label for the moment, so to be the top level, and the display name is categories. Say okay, and then we could start adding in our subcategories with the exact same links you get from the see all. So I'm just going to say label, but you'd actually do link, and I'll say award winning, etc, etc. You'd add them all in, and then what all you do is you say make sublink, and we click save, and that means we've got category, and it's in mega menu style here. That just means that we could have nested categories in this drop down, but if we want to keep it just straight and simple, we just go up to the cog here, say change the look, say navigation, and say cascading, which makes it a bit simpler. Click save, refresh the page, categories, and now we'll have them just award winning, etc, etc, etc down the page. You could just build them out like that, and then maybe take out the stuff that you don't want to direct people to. So we're kind of prioritizing end user experience over admin experience from the menu anyway. So we click save, and now we have a nice simple menu which would have our categories in here. If you want to get to any of them other areas, they're always available to you in site contents. So there's all our pages, all our videos, it's all there, good to go. So the last thing we want to do is we want to make it look Netflixy. So what you want to do is change the theme of the site. Now you could upload a custom theme, which is an absolute black background with a red accent, and then you're really on brand. But what we will do is we'll change the look, and we'll just work with what we have out of the box. So I'm going to say dark yellow, and kind of instantly it's a fairly dramatic change. So I'll click save. And the last thing I really had on mine was a kind of a ShareFlix logo, which was a kind of a take on the Netflix logo. Now the way I did that was in Photoshop, just text, and you transform it to have a kind of a curve. So I'm going to change the site logo. So all I have to do is go to the cog and I say change the look. I say header, site logo, change it to ShareFlix site logo. Open, that's in there. And because we have it saying ShareFlix here, we don't really need it to say it there. So we would say site title visibility, turn it off, and click save. And there you have it. That is your version of Netflix and SharePoint called ShareFlix. Quite simple. So I hope you found this useful. And I know we're having a bit of fun here using movies as the subject of what we're doing, but the practical applications of this are quite handy, and it's a nice user experience for people to explore video within your organization or your business. So questions, comments, please leave them below. Happy to answer them and happy to be educated if you know a better way or a quicker way to do some of the things that I've been doing. We're all always learning after all. So thanks, till next time.